Well, the One Young World Summit in The Hague in the Netherlands is underway and will end today.
Well, the aim of the summit is to continue to build a better world.
Morning Live anchor Leanne Manas spoke to Akon about the work he has done to ensure that this is achieved. Let's have a look at the insert.
Akon, thanks so much for talking to us.
No, thank you for having me.
All right, so One Young World, you've just gone off stage now in front of thousands of young, enthusiastic, I suppose, youth from all over the world. I mean, what was that like?
It was a lecture.
It is, isn't it? It's amazing.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. I actually had a good time. Briefly had to come quick. They told me I only had 10 minutes to speak.
Yeah.
So I had to gather up my whole story within 10 minutes and push in the little pieces that we needed. But I think it was enough to get the point across to actually, if anything, ask the questions, at least like get back more socially involved after the lecture.
You know, the nice thing is that you came on straight after Mo Ibrahim.
No, he's amazing.
He is, and your messages were very similar.
Mm-hmm.
It's the matter of the youth are now in charge. The old must go. They must go, and governance in Africa is not good.
That's been the biggest problem. He hit it dead on the nose. You know, a country that's under-governed is going to be under-delivering, and it's that simple.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about you. I mean, you were born in America, but you were raised in Senegal for a couple of years, and it seems like your heart has stayed there because you're constantly wanting to develop and give back to Africa. Why? I mean, you could have just forgotten about Africa and moved on in your hotshot life, but you came back.
Yeah, I mean, well, with me it's a little different because we were actually raised in Africa, so I always felt I'm African. We were just born in America, you know? So ultimately, it's always been a position where when I ever get to that position where something could be done, it's just I would have to do it. There's no way around it.
You said something that was quite, it hit me because I feel the same way. You know, we obviously are from Africa and South Africa, and sometimes you arrive and you travel around Africa and nothing changes. It stays the same, and sometimes it just deteriorates, or most times it deteriorates. You said that when you used to go and visit your grandmother, and everything just stayed the same and never progressed. But you needed to change that. Yeah,
that has to happen. There's no way you can go 20 years in the same corner you was raised in look exactly the same, if not worse. It just doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah. Why? I mean, again, what is the problem with governance?
Well, the problem with Africa was just too much corruption in government. And I think the governing body, the people that's elected to be in that position, are almost focused on parties and ultimately themselves. You know, I think when decisions are made, they make decisions according to what affects them and not the people. And I think that's been the biggest issue.
Yeah. So you've come in, and I mean, what you've come in makes all the sense in the world, because solar power, if there's one thing that Africa has got, is the sun. The whole world has got the sun.
Our most valuable resource. We'll never run out of sun.
And the fact that it hasn't been utilized doesn't make any sense. But you're coming in, I mean, the amount of countries that you're working in, I mean, there's a whole list. It's as long as my arm. But, I mean, you've gone from the Republic of Guinea, Mali, Benin, Senegal, Niger, Gabon, blah, 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 and the list goes on and on and on. How is it working? How is it taken up by the people in these countries?
I mean, it's amazing. I mean, everywhere we hit, the neighboring countries are always reaching out. That's why we've been so busy since we started, and we've been probably the fastest growing solar company in the continent, ultimately because of the fact that we go to the rural areas where the electricity is actually really needed.
Yeah. And the cost?
That's the key.
I mean, the cost of solar?
Oh, I mean, it's cheap now. It's a lot cheaper. And then I was able to take advantage of all the production, manufacturing that China was utilizing for U.S., you know, consumption. But when they raised the taxes 200% on them, they couldn't do anything with half that stuff, so we used it. And got a huge discount on top of that, so it was able to. So that actually, they thought was a bad thing, ended up being the best thing that could ever happen for them, because now they have a huge market share in Africa because of that.
I mean, you've also now reached out to new presidents across Africa, and I think it's the President Bio of Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
You've also recognized within him that youth and new ways of thinking and new ideas, you can actually get to them a lot better. They can understand the concept. Older leaders can't understand the concept.
That's true. He's actually one of the few leaders amongst a couple more that actually get it. Because he's a younger leader, so he thinks more in a younger age. I think the African leaders all came from tradition, because ultimately in Africa we have a huge thing of respecting our elders. So normally the governing body or the leading party is always the oldest person in the village. And in government, it works, but it doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because government has to be youthful, and they have to have the younger generation more active than normal because of the fact that that's their future that you're building. So you have to involve the younger generation. And in Africa, we have this tradition of the youngers are supposed to really speak when the elders are speaking.
Yeah.
And our opinions aren't as powerful as they should be. And I think that's changing now.
Two final questions. There was an article where I read that you were actually happy at one stage to run for president with Mark Zuckerberg as your running mate. Would you still do something like that?
I'll be announcing soon for something.
Really?
I just can't say it out loud yet. It's too early.
So we might
I'm
be
still
onto
thinking
something.
about it.
You're still thinking about it?
Yeah.
But there is a possibility for anything. I mean, you've done so much.
Oh, it's a possibility for a lot of things.
Yeah. Which is exciting.
It is.
It's really exciting. You've just given me butterflies in my stomach because you never know what's going to happen next.
You never know.
Finally, this mine in South Africa, how's it doing? Have you still owned it?
Oh, no, not anymore.
No
I was actually a shareholder in the mine in South Africa in 2008 to 2010. It was just, the mining business in South Africa is brutal.
Yeah.
And my name was just too big to get caught up in some of those things that's happening over there.
Yeah. You keep doing good work.
You had to pull out.
Exactly. Keep your name out of the bad stuff. Akon, what a pleasure speaking to you.
No,
you keep up the incredible work. It's people like you that we need on the continent to see the potential and to invest in it. Thank you very much for talking to us.
You got it.
Thank you very, very much.